Okay, I'm going to show you how to do a bearing oil change on a Sl20. Same principle for a Sl30. This one hasn't been done for a while, so it's long overdue. First thing I'm going to do is unclip this so I can take the spool out. Some people tape their leader onto the spool. I just use a clip so I can use it every time. That's done. Then we've just got to take this side plate off to get access to the spool. So take these 3 screws out. Then lift the cap off. That will show you the ratchet mechanism and the first bearing. The 2 brake blocks, I take these out. They may have a clean actually, because they might be contaminated with some oil and dirt and stuff. So let's lift out the spool. Put that to one side. You can see the other bearing inside held with a circlip. We'll do that one afterwards. Put this to one side. So now we can work on this. This is really simple. It's 1 screw here to release the ratchet mechanism. So take that out. Lift this ring off. Then this ring comes out as well. That's it. And then over the top of the ratchet, and then finally this one. Now you've got some loo roll here because this will be messy. You've got a bearing cover with a foam pad. Ooh, look at this, that's in bad shape, all this black gunk. So we'll stick that on there. Now to remove these, trust me on this, once you remove the ratchet, I just give it a thump. There she comes. Put that there. There's also a copper shim in here. I take that out because I like to flush all this. There's too much oil in here. Far too much. So that comes out of there. I'll use an old piece of loo roll just to soak up most of it. I'm pretty happy with that. You can use an earbud with some lighter fluid, but I'm happy with that. Next thing, while we wait, I get an egg cup, lighter fluid. Going to dump all these parts into the egg cup as well. Leave that to soak while we get the other bearing out. See the colour of that already. Now this one's a bit fiddlier. You have to remove this circlip. There it is. Luckily it didn't go on the carpet. There it is. Now you've got that. Now to get this one out, I use an old bicycle spoke. It's got a nice little mushroom end on it. You can hook it under the bearing. This one looks pretty gummed up, but it's okay. There he is, that's done. So we're going to give him a little wipe. Get the crud off, and then he's going in here. Now I like to agitate all of these. I generally do this, leave them to soak and kind of mess around with them for about 15 minutes. So we'll leave those to soak and then we'll move on to the next bit. Okay, so these are all cleaned and dried. The next thing I do, we've got to get oil into these parts. So first of all, we don't need this fibre pad and the bearing retainer, so we'll put those together. They can be fitted in a minute. We are going to put some oil on that. I'll show you that in a minute. A little copper plate. We can actually, we'll fit him so he doesn't get lost. He goes in there. These two need oiling. Now there's a way of doing this. this is my preferred way of doing it. Now, I'm old school. I only use one oil for my reels, and that's engine oil, 10W40. That's what I have lying around, and it works great. So you just need a tiny bit. Now, I've got some on a teaspoon. I like to heat it up so it's really viscous. And when it starts getting viscous, you can drop the bearings in. So we just heat it up. It's already beginning to get runny. And then drop these in. This just helps it get in, really penetrate the bearings well. Right, let's just heat it up so it's really, really liquid. Then you get little bubbles working their way through. Nearly there. No bubbles yet. Generally when I see tiny bubbles forming, I know it's ready. Ah, they're starting. Okay, that's good. So they're done. While we're there, I like to just get a tiny bit of oil, a minuscule amount, onto this fibre pad. There, that's how I do it. Some might frown upon it, but I think it's the way to do it. Okay, now we need to set these aside to cool down. Okay, we'll leave them to cool. Right, so these bearings are oiled and now they're cooled. We can refit them. So take the reel side, drop him in there, push that right in. Now we've got to get this circlip back in. Right. Generally try and feed one corner in. There it is. If only it was that easy taking them out. Right, that's in. So we can now slide the spool in. Make a bit of a mess of this. Okay, so this is where you probably want to tape it up, but I don't care. I do it this way. There it is. Okay, now I could refit the brake blocks, but we're going to clean them. So let's just put the ratchet side together. So we've dropped the copper shim in, bearings ready to be pressed in. Now you need this felt pad and cover on top. Now we need, can refit it in order. Just firstly line up the ratchet cam thing. That's first. Second is this one. And it goes on there. And this. And finally the retaining screw. Yeah. That's ready. Now I'm just going to clean up the brake pads, brake blocks, I suppose you call them, brake blocks. Yeah, they were clean anyway, but it's always best to check. So I'm going to drop these in. Ratchet cover back on, end plate. And 3 screws in. There'll be other videos about how you can keep these sealed and extend the life by greasing certain parts and overhauling the other parts of this reel. For now it was just the bearings. So that's basically it. Just tidy this up. Clutch is always left off, that's good practice. Ratchet on. And the bearings are nice and smooth again. And it's ready for another year's service at least. Sl20 bearing oil change. Stay tuned for other videos on other aspects of these brilliant little reels. Thanks for watching.